Okay, so today is Thursday, November 14th. Yeah, we're already like halfway through November. I don't know what the fuck happened. Those first few days where like the weather was terrible and like my car was in the shop felt so long and so miserable. And then the last like what, 9 days or so of the month have just kind of flown by. They've been really nice and pleasant. I mean, okay, some of them like last Thursday definitely did not fly by, but I talked about that in last week's video, which I know it was kind of weird because I did one on Wednesday because I wasn't sure if I was gonna do one on Thursday, and then I felt so good after Thursday, like I gotta talk, man. But it has been a nice week. It's been a very pleasant week. So let me start with the worst, most fucking dog shit thing that happened last week. There is this boss in Wukong that I fucking hate. It is the optional boss of the, I mean, I guess there's a few optional bosses in the secret area because it's a secret area. I think there was like 2 or 3. But the boss at the end of the secret area of chapter 5, I don't remember what it's called. It's like the Bishu Beast or some shit. It's the big flaming, I don't want to call it a dog, but it feels very dog-like in how it acts. But that fucker, hate it. Absolutely hate it. It's one thing to have to fight a boss that's very aggro, very fast. It's another thing to have to fight a boss that's very aggro and very fast, where I also have to fight the camera, because there have been a lot of times where I'm like, I don't know how or why, I literally cannot see the boss right now. Or the boss will be right on me, but I'm kind of in a corner, and then the camera says, oh, I get it, you just kind of want to see the corner, right? No, I want to see the thing I'm attacking. What the heck? It's another thing entirely to fight a boss that's very aggro and very fast, to have to fight the camera and to fight the frame rate at the same time, because the more that this thing starts breathing fire and it's covering the screen, which A, is one of the reasons why the boss gets hard to see at points, and 2, the game actively kind of starts to chug a bit. And so I was texting Wyatt last night. I was like, bro, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, this thing is so hard. I am just losing. Like, I've gotten close a few times, but I just can't finish it. He's like, okay, there is a trick. There is an area in the arena where if you can get the boss to, like, attack it, you can go to another arena where it's a lot bigger, so the boss is kind of easier to avoid, and instead of it using fire, it uses ice. And when Patrick and I played it, we found it was a lot more manageable. So I did that this morning, and I beat him. I beat him before I headed out over here. So the absolute worst thing to happen to me this week, I mean, so far, there's a few more days, things can happen, but was something I was still able to conquer with a little help from my friends. And that's just nice. That's the kind of just nice week that I've had. So let me get into some of the other stuff. It's gonna be good times and good vibes the rest of the way. So some movies that I watched Look Back, and I made a video on it that's honestly, for me, doing really well. It has like 45 views, like 5 likes, and I know, like, it's YouTube, that's nothing numbers, but for me, that's crazy. I'm like, holy crap, this is doing incredibly well. Also, like, the Wednesday video has almost 100 views. That's crazy. So, like, if you watched either of those or any of the other stuff on the channel, like, thank you. I appreciate that. It's so neat. But, there's that. Sorry, like, I probably do need to get a haircut soon, or I don't know. I like my hair. I like how much of it I have. I was talking to a friend of mine. He's like, your hair is great. You need to do something with it, like, kind of find a way to style it. And I don't disagree. I just don't know what to do. But there's just this little amount that just naturally always falls in my face. Like, if I can trim that or figure out what to do with that, it'd be great. I don't think I want to do a pompadour, but I kind of almost want to do a pompadour. Anyways, point. Look Back was great. -1, I actually watched right after I recorded the video on Thursday. Like, I did the thing, in court, which is also really neat to think about. Like, yeah, in terms of Oklahoma, I am 1-0 in trials. And like, that's not going to last. It's just kind of the nature of the beast as an attorney. Like, there are some cases where you have to zealously advocate for your client. You're going to do the best that you can, but with it, like with the facts what they are and the evidence that may or may not be there, there's just kind of not much you can do except the best that you can for them. But it is kind of neat to be like, yeah, I am. If I never do another case in Oklahoma, I would be undefeated. Yeah, that's just kind of neat. But anyways, I watched -1. I've been meaning to do a video on it. I have my notes ready. I am intending to do it like right after this. I got my computer with me, so I'm just gonna like prop it up and talk about it. I am so excited to talk about this movie because how fucking good it is. It is, I guess, going into light spoilers for that video, it's easily my favorite Godzilla movie that we've seen, which is what? The Showa era and the Monsterverse movies. And to be fair, I've seen a few others. Like, I've seen 98, I've seen Final Wars, I've seen Shin. I'm not including those because it's been a long time. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not expecting 98 to really be a contender. But of the ones that we've explicitly watched during the marathon, as like, I am an ardent fan and stan and supporter and defender of the original Gogeta being the best. And I really enjoy the Monsterverse movies too. I'm like, oh, this is just the best one so far. The only movie I think that's really going to give it a run for its money is Shin, because I really loved Shin Godzilla. But even still, I think -1 is going to end up being the king. The fact that there is a sequel in development, so I'm excited. I'm really excited. So here's the other movie that I watched. Did I actually write it down? Yes. Okay, because I want to make sure I pronounce it correctly, and I'm probably not going to. I believe it's Jodorowsky's Dune. I probably butchered that. I feel so bad. It is a documentary about the unmade Dune movie. This movie, I don't think I'm going to do a video on this. I'm just going to talk about it for a bit. This movie is awesome. And the reason it's so cool is because it is just a dude talking about how passionate he is for this project and how absolutely unhinged the project is. And how he slowly but surely assembles his party. He's like, oh yeah, like I was in a comic store and I was looking through this art and I thought, this is amazing. This is the dude I want. And then I happened to run into him, so I did. And like at one point, I was in Paris and I ran into Salvador Dali and we talked. And I convinced him to be on the project. And he said, you know what? I want to be the highest paid actor ever to be in your movie, to be the emperor. Because like, yeah, he was making crazy demands because he was Salvador Dali. Like, why wouldn't he? And so Jodorowsky was like, okay, what we came up with is we were going to pay him $100,000 per minute. He was only going to be in the film for like a max of 5 minutes. It was still going to be a lot of a lot of money, not a lot of movie. But he was going to be the highest paid actor per minute. And when Dali heard it, he goes, that's amazing. I will be the $100,000 a minute man. Like Mick Jagger was going to play Fade Routha. And the way he tells that story, he's like, yeah, I was at a party with Mick Jagger, and Jagger sees me, and it's just like kind of making his way toward me, and just goes, I hear you want to put me in a movie. I do. I'm in. It's like, bro, like this guy's pull was crazy. Like, just again, when you actually, like, if you have a chance, I would highly recommend watching it. I think it's amazing. But just hearing how passionate this guy was about his project and how infectious and contagious that was, it's so, he comes across as just this super magnetic dude. And I really do want to check out some of his movies. I plan on watching The Holy Mountain either like today or tomorrow, sometime within the next few days. I've heard it's a trip. Like, I have some friends who have seen it who love that movie. Are like, it's weird. It's great, but it's weird. There was a point where I was texting my friend N7 about it, and he was like, yeah, like I'm finally watching the documentary. He's like, okay, I have a copy of the Incal if you're interested in it. And I'm like, I have no idea what that is. So by the end of the documentary, he's like, oh yeah, so I teamed up with one of the artists that was working on the Dune movie with me, and we made this comic called The Incal. I'm like, okay, I am now 100% interested in it. So I now have his copy. I don't know when I'm going to read it. I would like to do it soon-ish, but I'm very excited for it. This movie was great. I am so disappointed that I will never get to see his Dune. I don't know how good it would have been as an adaptation. Like, there's a lot of weird shit, like the fact that Paul's father was castrated, so he couldn't actually have a kid. So the way Paul is born is when Leto and Jessica meet each other, Jessica takes like a drop of Leto's blood and converts it into semen, and it goes through her body, and that's how she becomes pregnant with Paul. It's fucking weird, man. He even says, he's like, look, I'm not trying to make a faithful adaptation of Dune. I'm just trying to make my Dune. And a decent amount of people on the project are like, I've never read Dune. I don't intend to ever read Dune because I know this version of Dune exists. It's cool. It's really cool. Let's see. So there's that. So the Often Monster season of Monogatari is done, at least this core. So I need to watch the new arc. I watched the first episode like a couple days ago. Like, I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong. It's not like, I watched it, it was whatever. I liked it. I just haven't had a chance to watch the others. I am caught up on Dan to Dan, unless the new episode came out today. I don't remember if it's Thursday or Friday. Maybe it's Wednesday. But what was the last one I watched? Was, I don't remember her name, like Ida, I think, with the pink-haired girl trying to exorcise Momo because she thinks she's a demon. And then there's the giant hair lady that just eats everybody. I love this show. This show is so batshit insane. It's awesome. And I am caught up on Survivor. I watched yesterday's episode. I am so glad I watched it unspoiled because I tend to watch it. So Survivor airs from about 7 to 8:30 in my time zone. So because my Wednesday schedule is a bit different, I get off at 7. My goal is to kind of get home around 9:30, and then watch the episode. And if I go to the gym, like, they'll play some of it. So I'll usually, like, probably watch some of the immunity challenge. Like, I saw the end of the challenge. But in terms of all of the skullduggery and strategy that was going on, I had no idea. And I loved that, because even the people, like, the players are like, dude, we don't really know what the hell is going on. Like, here was the plan, and then there was a side plan, and then the victim found out about the side plan to send him home. So he started working to get someone else out, and then that was the plan, or at least another plan. But then it seemed like people were saying, well, maybe instead of this person for the side, but we should do this person. I'm like, good old Survivor chaos. I love this. And in the end, Saul went home. I don't have to be happy about that. So it's like, I like Saul a lot. I just really liked this dude's vibe and his energy. And like, I don't know if he was my favorite that I wanted to see win, because I've really enjoyed Andy, and I really like Genevieve. Like, I really like a lot of the players here. And I'm like, I'm sad that one of my favorites is gone. But this season has genuinely been so good that I'm kind of happy with almost anyone winning. Genevieve is a stone cold assassin. She reminds me a lot of Jessie from, I think it was 43. I get a little mixed up with the numbers, but I believe that was 43. Where it's like, okay, it seems like this is very clearly the best player here. And they don't seem to be getting a lot of blowback from their, like, the good, like, really good crazy shit that they do. We'll see if that continues, because this was her plan, and then it got blown up, and she adapted, but then her plan ended up going through. We'll see if people are like, okay, no, she is playing, we need to get rid of her, if she kind of made a big move too quickly, because big move-itis is always a thing in Survivor. If this if Teeny finds out, and then it's like it really ends up burning that bridge, and it's like, that's another thing I am kind of enjoying about this season. It's like you've got so many people on different like war paths and revenge arcs. She's like, look, Saul targeted Rome and he was my number one. I've been wanting Saul gone for a long time. And then Sam's like, Lavo turned on me, Andy turned on me. Fuck all of them. You've got Andy be like, I turned on Kata because fuck them. Sue has hated Kyle from like the first tribal council. It's been great. And I know I had said the first like 2-3 episodes, like, I don't know, like I'm watching it still, like it's not bad. I'm just not clicking with it. I don't know if I want to say it's my favorite season of the new era, because I really, really liked 42. And 46, it kind of reminds me of 46, where 46, the first episode was Jelinski. It was great. It was beautiful television. And then it was the Banu show for like 3 episodes. And I was like, man, like I'm kind of still enjoying it, but it was starting to overstay its welcome. And then once we got past the Banu show, it was phenomenal. I don't think the first 3 episodes were like as, it's so bad saying this, but like as insufferable as the Banu show was. It was like, it's not clicking with me. And then it's been smooth sailing ever since. I am so excited to see this season continue. I am really enjoying this cast. I am really enjoying just their interactions, the way they're playing the game. It's just a good time. What else we got? Oh yeah. So, excuse me. So I guess gym progress, I am mostly going every day. I feel like Monday I didn't end up going. I think I still like made sure to get like a couple walks in, just try to get some exercise. But I would say for the most part, I'm trying to go about 5 or 6 days a week. My weight has fluctuated a bit. It's kind of around 213. Like I think yesterday I was at like 212 something. It was like 212.4 or 0.6, something like that. So right now I haven't checked. I probably should have went this morning. But Clay and I are going to go get lunch pretty soon. I probably actually should have gone ahead and gone. Hopefully I'll go later. Maybe this will be another day that I take off. I try to make sure I walk and get some exercise in. So it might be a little higher than the 212, might be a little bit below. But it's been pretty stable and I've just felt good. I've noticed that like when I wear my suit, it fits. I don't know if I'd necessarily say it fits better, but it feels a lot looser. Like there's times when I put on the jacket or I'm like, I can feel, I don't want to say it. Like, I don't feel the weight of it. It's not like, oh man, this is super heavy and it feels super tight. I'm like, no, like it feels kind of loose. I've noticed a few times just like wearing my pants, not even just for the suit, but like in general, I'm like, oh, it's sagging just a little bit. I am losing weight. This is nice. I like feeling and seeing progress. This is great. You know what else is great? You want to know what else is fucking great? The Saints beat the Falcons. It was wonderful. I was telling Chris, and Chris and I are going to try to do our next football video later today, like sometime this in the evening. I'm very excited for that. Like I've taken some notes. I love football. I love being able to talk about football, even if I'm just talking out of my ass, even if half the shit I say is just bullshit. It's just fun and enjoyable. But I was telling Chris, I was like, dude, my man Koo, he made up for beating the Saints on a 60-yarder by missing 2 field goals and having a 3rd blocked. He's redeemed himself in my eyes. Chris was like, dude, negative redemption, that's wild shit. I'm like, it really is. Genuinely, like, Koo is a phenomenal player. I remember hearing something where it's, the coach is like, yeah, we still have confidence in our kicker and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, you absolutely should. He had a bad day, but he's consistently been one of your best players for the past several years. If you guys don't want him, I mean, I wouldn't complain. But, no, like, he's been great. I'm glad he had a bad day against us. Like I said, it makes up for the phenomenal kick he had, the phenomenal game winner a few weeks ago. I had said, it's like, look, I want to see his tank at this point. I think that's what we need. We're probably, the season's not over yet, so I can't say for sure. But I'd say about like 95% sure we're not going anywhere. We lost 7 straight to win the division. So in terms of just numbers, Atlanta is 3 games ahead of us, but they will have a better division record, which means for all intents and purposes, they're 4 games ahead of us with what, 7 to play. The odds of us actually finishing with a better record than Atlanta, not impossible, but I would say very improbable. I would heavily doubt it. And then for a wild card spot, again, kind of the same thing. I think right now, okay, so the Vikings, I think would be the 5, because they also have 7 wins, so like right behind Detroit. The Packers have 6, and I think the Commies have 7, because I think the Eagles, it's 7-2 Eagles, 7-3 Commies, so the Eagles are a half game ahead. So again, we're about 3-4 games out of a wild card spot with 7 to go. It is not impossible. It doesn't feel super likely. So I don't think I would complain if we were losing to get a good pick. Either get like a really good cornerstone player to trade down and get a lot more picks so we could really rebuild and fix the roster. But I will never complain about us beating the Falcons. That is always more important than tanking, is beating Atlanta. It is wonderful having a rival. It is wonderful having a nemesis and being able to get one over on your nemesis. And with that being said, if the Falcons get their shit together and win the Super Bowl in New Orleans, that is, I don't even want to imagine it. I don't want to imagine the kind of video I'm gonna have to make if that shit happens. Like, anyone but Atlanta. If Carolina somehow goes on a run and wins a Super Bowl in our stadium, I'm not gonna be happy. But at least not the Falcons. If the Bucks get their shit together and go on a run and win a Super Bowl in our city, I am not going to be happy. I'm gonna be a little happy for Baker. I love Baker Mayfield. Boomer sooner. I'm not gonna be happy. But at least it's not the Falcons. That just feels evil. Like, that just feels like some demon decided to play a curse, and I don't like that. Anyone but them, man. Moving on to something else. So, in terms of, like, games, I've talked about Wukong. It's kind of like the only thing I've been playing. I haven't played a whole lot of Skullgirls with Jose, but we have resumed playing Kingdom Hearts. So, I think the last thing we were on was Tarzan, and then so, like, earlier this week, he's like, dude, I'm gonna be honest, like, I kind of want to play Kingdom Hearts again. I just don't want to play Tarzan. Can you play Deep Jungle? And I'm like, yes, I am so excited. We're gonna play Kingdom Hearts again. Wait, what? I did not want to play Deep Jungle. It's not, like, the worst. I just don't find it that fun. And just, not Clayton. Not Clayton. Like, I've heard that voice clip so many times. Because I have played Kingdom Hearts a lot. And I played it on original hardware, where you could not skip cutscenes. So, that is something I have heard a lot of. The, lead me into everlasting darkness. It's like, I've heard that. Oh, Sorry, I thought my nose started bleeding for a second. I felt something. I was like, oh shit, I'm getting a Kingdom Hearts aneurysm. That's bad. That's another cutscene I have heard a lot of. The lizard wasn't too bad. It took me a few attempts, but I just had, honestly, what happened, I was just like, you know what, I'm going to switch out Goofy and put in Tarzan, because it looks like Tarzan's got, like, some healing. He might be able to heal me, maybe it's self-healing. He's pretty ungy-bungy. Let's go. And then it was just, like, it's not, like, a perfect run. I still took damage, but I would just cooked. Like, the lizard died a lot quicker than I thought he would, and I'm going to be honest, that was probably because Tarzan was doing some work. But we did that. Went back to Coliseum, did the prelim stuff, went to Traverse Town, did second Traverse Town, and I experimented, because I'm like, hold on a second. I have never left Traverse Town the second time without fighting opposite armor, because, like, why would I skip that? Can I skip that? Because I realized, I was like, wait a second. Sid just told me, it's like, yeah, like, you're good, you're Gucci, you can do whatever you want with the gummy ship. And they're like, all right, you know, you got to ring the bell in the gizmo shop. Is this technically optional? I'm gonna check that. Yeah, we can just go to the wormhole and go to Agrabah. We didn't. We're gonna fight opposite armor. We gave up the shield. We need Arrow. But it was just kind of neat to know, it's like, oh, huh. I guess I can skip this. I guess that means Arrow in its entirety is optional, because you don't have to fight opposite armor. One of the other two, depending on which one you do first, is behind a yellow Trinity in Neverland, so you don't have to do it. And the other is like a Dalmatian reward, so you don't have to do it. Gravity is not entirely optional. You don't have to do the Phil Cup. You don't have to do the Hades Cup. But you are... Actually, no, like, it is, because you don't have to do Halloween Town. Because you can do either Halloween Town or Atlantica. If you just do Atlantica and don't do Halloween Town, you won't get Gravity from fighting Oogie. So Gravity is also entirely optional. Are there any other spells that are like that? I don't think so. Obviously, like, some specific upgrades, like Blizzaga and Thundaga, are in the Hades Cup. And I guess if you skip... Thunder is entirely optional, because you don't have to do Olympus. You can do Halloween Town instead of Atlantica, so you won't get Thundara for beating Ursula, and then if you don't go back and do the Hades Cup, you're not going to get Thundaga. That's fucking weird. Is Stop entirely optional? Stopga is, fighting the Phantom. Stopra is in... Pooh, but you get the first stop from fighting the Parasite Cage, which there's 2 fights with in Monstro. I don't remember if you get it after the first or the second fight, because I know the first fight is required. I don't think you have to do the second fight with it. Depending on when you get... So Arrow is entirely optional. Gravity is entirely optional. Thunder is entirely optional. However, because you have to do Halloween Town or Atlantica, you will get one of Gravity or Thunder, but you don't have to get both. And depending on if Stop is the first or second fight with the Parasite Cage, it's also entirely optional. I'm sorry, that's just weird to think about. Like, as someone who has played a lot of Kingdom Hearts and just, like, tries to do everything, the fact that a decent amount of the game is optional is just weird. Okay, let me go ahead and end the video. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Let me get into the last thing, and then we will end the video. I started the video, I mean, I guess technically it was like, you know, it's Thursday and blah, 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 blah. But I tried to start it by saying, here's the most dog shit thing to happen. I want to end by talking about the best thing that happened. So this was, not yesterday, this was 2 days ago, so that would be Tuesday. I had this moment after work where I was like, okay, I just kind of want to chill for a little bit. I want to rest. I want to vibe. And then I either want to go to the gym or I want to write. Because there is this chapter at the end of Orichalcum. This is like the other part of the climax. And it is I guess not the only, because the epilogue, but it is one of the last and only parts that I am writing from scratch. The other 2 chapters, I'm gonna have to make some edits, but a lot of the chapter is already there. This is completely new shit, and I'm nervous. And then a week ago, like, I sat down and actually kind of wrote through it. I was like, okay, I have an outline, kind of liking it. And then, throughout the, like, a little bit of last week and a little bit earlier this week, slowly but surely writing some of the parts of the outline. Like, okay, I'm liking this, I'm liking this, I'm liking this. Now we get to the big part, like when shit hits the fan. And I'm excited, but I'm still a little nervous. Do I want to do that? Do I want to work out? I kind of want to do both. So I just started watching clips from Inside the NBA because it's like the best show ever. And I'm just having a really good time. And I say, okay, I'm in a good mood. I feel energized. Let's go work out. So I go to the gym and I'm like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to specifically listen to Toho music. Because if you know nothing about Toho, music's fire. So I'm working at, and like some of this is like actual songs from the game. Some of it is like some remixes. Like I have some like symphonic metal remixes of some of the songs. I'm like, these are so fucking good. And as I'm working out, I'm just imagining some of the shit going down. Partially, again, because Toho music is so fire and energetic, and the shit that I'm trying to think of is the climax of the story. They're kind of going well together. So as I'm on the bike, because that's the one thing I do at the gym, as I'm just like, go, 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 I'm pulling out my phone and I'm writing shit down. It's not just like, all right, I got stuff in my head. I am writing actual like dialogue, writing actual descriptions, and I'll like send it to myself in an email and be like, oh, now I'm thinking of this. Oh, now I'm thinking of this. Well, I don't want to write the whole thing out, but let me just like write some notes. And then like I did that for an hour. That did not feel like an hour. Like that workout went by so fast. And it's not like, oh yeah, like I was working out, but it was really slow. Like, no, like it was a really good workout. And I got a lot of writing done. I was like, this feels so fucking good. It was like I was saying last Thursday, where I felt really, really good after the trial. And I'm like, okay, so about like a week or so ago, I had this moment of feeling really good. I kind of started having a panic attack because I'm just not used to this and don't know how to react to being happy. And then last week was like, I still feel a bit overwhelmed, but I feel like better about it and kind of more willing to like receive this and stay in this moment. And then a couple days ago, I'm like, yeah, we're happy. We're feeling good. Let's go. Let's continue this. So then I go and like get a milkshake. I was a little bit of a bad boy. Like I went and got a milkshake. I drive around the lake while drinking my milkshake and listening to music. The radio's playing some good tunes. It was just a lovely, lovely afternoon. That's how I'm going to end the video. I hope you guys have a good day, a good weekend, good rest of the week, rest of the month, rest of the year, etc., etc., etc. I know I said I was right about to record -1, but I am kind of hungry. So I think I'm going to go get something to eat and then hopefully record -1. We'll see how that goes. Hopefully I get that done soon, and I will see you later.